Every day, millions of men and women leave their house to go to work just like you and I would. But unlike a 9 to 5 job, their job is a bit different. These people have to answer calls, patrol the streets, make arrests, and even put their lives on the line. These people are police officers. Today, I will be talking about the schooling, the pros and cons of being a police officer, and my personal experience with them. To become a police officer, you must have your Act 120 certification, which is a state certification through whichever state you work in. The Act 120 consists of a psychological evaluation and a physical evaluation. The psychological evaluation consists of a personality test, a reading test, and a personal interview. The physical evaluation consists of a 1.5-mile run, a 300-meter sprint, bench presses, and sit-ups. But the physical evaluation is based on your gender and your weight. On top of the Act 120, most departments require you to either have an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. Another thing I want to add is I know some departments will actually pay for you to go get your Act 120 certification and hire you after you get it within that department, which is an awesome benefit because getting your Act 120 is a little pricey. Next, I want to talk about the pros and the cons of being a police officer. Some of the cons are stress, both physical and mental. Many things attribute to stress. For instance, being a police officer is very dangerous. They have one of the highest rates of job-related injuries. Another thing police officers deal with is working long hours and on many holidays. This puts a strain on families, relationships, and even marriages. The things that police officers see throughout the day can also cause a large amount of psychological issues and stress. For example, seeing a person die right in front of your eyes time after time, whether it be a little child, an infant, or a grown person dying in a house or something that you cannot get to is eventually going to get to you no matter how tough you are. Last but not least, rising crime rates. In nearly 2 decades, crime rates have raised about 18%. So I'm sure after telling you all of that, you're probably wondering why on earth would anyone want to be a police officer? But believe it or not, there are some good benefits and positive things that come from this job. The first reward, I like to call it, is serving your community and trying to make the world a better place. I'm sure it's nice to go home at night knowing that you've helped someone out, protected someone, or even deterred someone from committing a crime. I know some of the police officers I was shadowing tell me that even by driving around the community, maybe someone was about to commit a crime, but they seen that car and they didn't do it anymore because they were afraid of getting caught. The second benefit is their benefits. Being a police officer is a government job, which means great health benefits for them and their families. They also have a great retirement plan. I know some departments will actually let you retire after 20 years of serving their community, so that's an awesome advantage right there, because who knows if in our generation we'll even be able to retire. Another good benefit is their salary and opportunities for advancement. Generally speaking, police officers start off between anywhere from 42 to 48 grand, depending on the department. And like I said, there is always room for advancement. You can work your way up the ladder by becoming a sergeant, a chief, and even a commander of your own zone, which is awesome. Now that I've covered a lot on policing, I'd like to share with you my personal experience with shadowing the police officers. I'm currently doing an internship with the Munhall Police Department, and I've got to learn a lot about the job, a lot about the people, and everything in general. First thing I got to learn quickly was that these people are just like you and me. They put on a tough image, but when you get to know them, they're actually they're normal human beings. They have a bad day every once in a while. They deal with a lot of stress. They have their own families, just normal people. One officer I've been following, his name's Officer Williams. When I first met him, he came off as this very intimidating guy. I did not want to be with him at all. He just seemed scary to me, but getting to know him was a lot different. He was actually a sweetheart. He was the nicest person. He shared a lot of personal stories with me, and just basically in general a nice guy. And just like any of the other police officers there, they're all sweet and they made me feel so welcomed. So just like I said, they're normal people. But when I was shadowing with them, I still am, but I've seen a lot of things that normal jobs you might not see. I mean, now this decade's getting so bad, but last week I seen a kid, he got shot in his foot, bleeding everywhere. I mean, gross. No one really wants to see that, but it's the stuff that they have to deal with on a daily basis. Another thing I seen that was sad. We got a call to go up to this lady's house. Her sister was trying to kick her out or whatever because she wasn't bathing, wasn't taking care of herself. She obviously had psychological issues, but it was just so sad to see, how this this is the real world that we're living in. But if you can't deal with that, and you can't deal with that on a daily basis, that right there alone causes stress. So if you can't deal with it, this job is not cut out for you. But if you can deal with it and you have a passion for it, I encourage you 100%. In closing, you've learned a lot about the schooling and what it requires, the ups and downs, both positive and negative, and my personal experience. Like I said before, this job isn't cut out for anyone, but if you truly want to do it, I encourage you 100%. Thank you.